to make a set of dowsing rods. I'll explain what they're for, how to use them, and then demonstrate it. So let's get going. Alright, so these dowsing rods I'm making, basically it'll allow you to find lines of water. They used them back in the day to find where the best place was to drill for a well, but in my case I'm going to use them to find where my neighbor's water line is, because I'm going to be installing a fence along my lane. And the previous owner, this was all one property, they had all the water lines ran up on this side, my property side of the lane, which hopefully it's in the easement, but according to the neighbor, sounds like they got outside the easement once they got up towards where the well is, that they patched into. So I gotta know for sure where theirs are so that I don't punch into them when I'm digging my post. So dowsing rods are the way to go. But yeah, again, they used them back in the day. They used to call it divining, because it was like you were bringing on calling upon the gods or some divine intervention to help find. I think back then they actually used sticks. As to whether those worked or not, I don't know what the whole physics are behind this, why it works, but I've watched several YouTube videos and they show it works. I did a test with some just copper electrical wire, and sure enough it worked, but those were really flimsy, so I went to the hardware store and got some much thicker gauge copper here. Got some copper piping to use for my handles, so I'll basically be holding on these so that then the copper wire will be free spinning in there, and I'll have less influence from my hands to make them turn. But so we'll go ahead and get these made, and then I'll demonstrate how they actually work. So I want these to be probably a couple feet long. I got a 5 feet piece here, so I guess what I'll do, I'll just cut this bad boy in half. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I want these to come through here, and I reckon I can actually bend it from the bottom so it won't come back out, like so. And then from there, bend it another 90 degrees. I just want that to be a little more of a true bend, true 90. There. Let's get these two straighten out. So I'm holding it. Yep. Now it's just a matter of straightening these out. I think I'll get a board or something to straighten that out. Okay. So I got my two divining sticks. So the concept is that you're holding them like this, and I guess you hold them up to your chest, so about like this far apart. And as you're walking slowly, once you cross a water line or electrical line or anything that's got, I guess, some type of I don't know, electrically conductive content in it, media, these will actually cross and want to point back to the line once you passed it. So, and then if you back up, they will then open back up. So basically wherever they cross, the X is kind of like where the line is. So I'll take this out here where I ran my new PEX water line. I ran 600 feet from the meter all the way up to the house, and so I know where that entire line is. So I'm going to test this several times to validate that it does in fact work over that line, and then we'll go try and find where the neighbor's water line is. And once I find it, at least what this says it is. I'm going to mark it with some paint and dig to see, to validate, verify that it is in fact there, because I want to make sure that when I drill with my auger, I'm not going to hit into their line. So that's the next thing is let's go ahead and let's go test this out. Okay, I tried two dowsing rods and the one just didn't seem to be working, but one did, and I switched hands and still only one was working, so I'm just going to go with the one. So basically when I walk over this path where this water line is been dug and laid, this dowsing rod will turn one way or another to where the line is. Once I pass it, it's like the tip is still going to point to where the line is. So the deal is I need to hold this pretty much straight up and down, the wire out, slightly bent down, and I'm holding it against my chest so that I don't tilt it, lean it to point, to force it to go that way. So I'm just going to casually walk. You got to walk slow. So here I'm right over the path. There you have it. So if I back up, then it straightens back out, so it's pointing to the line. So I'll go back over it again. Turn around, it's still pointing at it. Go back over one more time. And there it's going pointing. Why it's always going to the left, I don't know, because it's like the water line's going either way, so it's just weird how it always wants to go left. Might have something to do with the poles, I don't know. I have not found anything that shows science behind why this works. But people have been using it for some time, and it does in fact. We'll walk past that one. One more time here. And there's actually, it was already that way, so it went that way. But sure enough, it's working. So now I got to find where my neighbor's water line is, and then dig, verify that it is in fact there, and then lay my fence post. Alright, so I use the divining sticks. Again, only one of them really worked from my previous where I knew I laid. So I ran across this my ground here, trying to find my neighbor's line, and the one that kept giving me a positive indication, I decided to dig just out of the blue, and look what I found. Bam! Direct hit.